some of the...
I'm pretty sure you dreamed that.
I think you had an awesome dream.
I did not dream that. Eugene was trying to figure out a way to get some sort of part from that satellite that would give off radiation.
No, he was trying to use it for communication, I thought.
Yeah, he did that too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe the listeners out there will know whether I'm dreaming.
Right.
Maybe Jason and I missed...
will give you an apology and I'll buy you a drink.
Imagine if we missed an episode, Jason, and we're like, we're actually one out. We missed one. We totally missed what happened.
I seem to remember during that scene there was a lot of red all behind the trees and everything. So I don't know. Maybe it was a dream.
And I was stabbed to death at the end.
Yeah,
and then Georgie came and spoke to me, and she said, "Kirk, you're coming to the Commonwealth," and I was like, "Okay."
And here I am.
And then I had some ice cream.
Yeah, and it was great.
I honestly don't remember that, but I missed plenty of things before, so maybe you're right.
I am
because that was like 2 seasons ago that his cancer blew up and he had this swollen lump on his throat. And
it feels like 2 seasons ago. It was towards the beginning of season 10, but that was like in 2019. So yeah.
In terms of other Commonwealth stuff, Josh McDermott really understood the assignment about looking excited to see ice cream again, and I appreciated that he really committed to eating it. And I also appreciate that Princess just got straight in there after him. I don't know if I like anyone enough to share ice cream with them, but I guess if I hadn't had ice cream...
Amen.
I mean, if I hadn't had it for 10 years, though, Kirk, I might. I don't know. I'm sort of like, maybe. I think it's quite funny that the default look for women in the Commonwealth is sort of sexy secretary with, like, the glasses. I'm like, oh, do all women dress like this? Is this... Okay, cool. I do, though, like Stephanie's skirt and boots. I approve of her clothes. I could watch Princess and Mercer flirt all day. I think it's just super entertaining.
Yeah. Do you think he likes her?
I think, well, she got her $2 back.
Yes.
And we know that that's not normal. So.
And he said it's standard or whatever, but I don't believe him.
No.
I think he did her a favor.
100% not. I loved meeting Tommy and Tommy and seeing him and Yumiko interact. I thought Eleanor Matsura did a really good job of selling what it must be like to smell cake again after 10 years of no cake, which just sounds so depressing.
I was bumming when he dropped that cake. I was like,
I know.
Oh, God.
I was like, no, my God, it's so good.
Freaking waste.
No.
Probably like a week's supply worth of flour went into that. You know?
Yeah, what if she was like, you idiot?
Yeah, I know. Tommy,
So
you
clumsy.
failure. I hate you. This is why we never speak.
There's a Kroger just down the street. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Starbucks, you can get a cake pop.
A&P.
I thought they
Stop and Shop.
managed to do a
They
lot
should have
of
had a Starbucks. That would have been so funny.
a post-apocalyptic Starbucks, like a Milton Starbucks. Oh man, I thought they established their sibling dynamic quite well, quite quickly. Clearly, Yumiko's quite a
I
nag.
agree.
Bossing me around.
Tommy's accent isn't the best British accent I've ever heard, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I like the actor very much. And so, yeah, everyone after the world's kind of crappiest heist, everyone gets busted, but they're getting bailed out somehow by Lance Hornsby. So I'm intrigued to see how Cheesy Video Guy saves the day. But I did like that they kind of unofficially decided that Yumiko would be their fancy attorney. And they were like, well, we have a lawyer. We brought her with us. So that was quite good. But yeah, I was just buzzed to be in the Commonwealth. Really buzzed.
I mean, they freaking are there for a day and they're already breaking the laws.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, they've
great.
breaking nothing. They've done nothing but break rules.
Yeah.
They've done from the moment they got caught.
I mean, somebody should have warned them. You know, when these people go to any community, it's death and destruction, no matter what.
That's right.
They pull
That's
up their own video of Rick just covered in blood, going, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is the group they come from."
Waving his gun.
Yeah, Michonne knocking him out. They're like, "Yeah, those are like the head boy and girl of our community. They're really cool." Yeah, not a great resume.
But you'd think Yumiko might suffer because, or you know, it might be a ding against her since she came in with these people.
Yeah, Yumiko just disowns them. She's like, I found my brother. I don't need you anymore. Bye.
I don't really know these guys. Okay, my turn.
Yes.
Okay, some more. Yeah, just about how our group handled themselves in the Commonwealth. First off, I was thinking, what is their objective? There were some things that didn't quite track with me here because, I mean, I thought their objective was mainly for Eugene to hook up with this woman who he thinks is the love of his life, and he's barely paying her any attention.
Yeah, he's really not into it. He's more into the ice
he's
cream.
Like, it's like a blind date where he's not feeling chemistry or something. And also, the Commonwealth seems to have assumed that they're there to be a part of the community. In the orientation video, if you're watching this video, you've made it through the rigorous screening process of the Commonwealth community and have been approved to join us. I don't even remember them being asked whether they wanted to. And even Eugene here, when the administrative guy is giving them their job assignments and housing papers, he's like, "What's this? Permanent residency was not our intent." And I'm like, man, you'd think they would have covered that during the interrogation process.
Yeah.
So that's
remember, you gotta remember, they lied through their entire interrogation process about the fact that they were from a larger community.
Yes, but did they talk about whether they wanted to be a part of the community? And if so, and they lied and said they did, then why is he now saying, "Wait, what do you mean? Why are you saying we're going to be a part of this community?"
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, and then Stephanie too, like when they decided to have a face-to-face meeting, she said she was going to go talk to her people about it. And then at the rendezvous, all those soldiers showed up. So I wondered, did she tell them, her people, okay, I met this guy, Eugene. She knows he's part of a community in Virginia. So it doesn't totally track that they don't know that he has this community.
But I think perhaps the Commonwealth, because when they come in and interrupt their legal proceedings or whatever, and basically tell the guy to release them, and that they are more sophisticated and more savvy about this process than what's being implied. You know what I mean? I think that it's implied they've got their process, they're following their process, and they're believing all this stuff that our people are telling them. But that's clearly probably not going to be the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't think so. Like, I'm suspicious of Stephanie. I mean, she led them right to that tower.
Right.
And then they got, and I thought, is she, like, my suspicious mind, is she trying to get them to communicate with their people so they can get more information? But then Mercer busts in on them right away before very much is said at all. And then they're threatened with permanent banishment far away. And then Lance Hornsby comes in like a hero to save them. No, wait, let me, but then Stephanie tells, and this is what was suspicious to me. She said, well, you're going to have to pay for what you've done. And I'm like, well, you told him to do it. But
right.
She says, he could help you, but then you'll owe him. So I thought, okay, well, it seems like this whole thing was engineered just so they'll have some leverage over them, maybe. I don't know, to get them to do something, or I don't know.
Well, I think they probably suspect that they're from another community.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like you said, Stephanie knew that, you know what I mean? So soon as, if she's being honest with her people, even though she's playing along, then they knew that in their interview process that they were lying to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've been kind of orchestrating this whole thing and watching, there's some other thing going on. They either want to know more about the other community, and want to know if it's a threat or whatever.
Or get them to take them there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the last thing just that he gets, it did just kind of tickle me that they get in so much trouble on their first day. But they say, like Eugene says, we're here to help our people. And I think he did mention that when they were on the way, that maybe they can find some help from Stephanie's community, because as far as they know, the Whisperer War is still going on. And even Yumiko asked Tommy, or I thought she was saying Tommy, but you're saying Tommy. I'll say Tommy, whether these people might be able to help them. And that's when he says, if you follow the rules, anything's possible. So they are seeking help from these people. And if Eugene heard what Rosita said on the radio, I don't know if he did because they were cutting out, but if he did hear, he now knows that the Whisperer War is over, but that his people are starving, so they still need help. So that Eugene seems to have forgotten about trying to get rid of his virginity, and instead he's focused on trying to get help for his people now.
Well, I think they painted the whole adventure as both a combination.
Yeah,
it was, I got to meet this girl, but we also now have this dire situation where we need help. and maybe these people can provide help. So, and so he's kind of really focused right now on that.
Yeah,
he's worried. Yeah.
All right. I think, wow, we did all our points, right? Are we on to notes? Do you have any other random notes or anything, Kirk?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay.
That I had.
Lucy?
I wrote someone finally peed in The Walking Dead, but I think I've actually seen people go to the bathroom.
Yes. I agree. You never see people pee or go to the bathroom. You rarely see them eat. And granted, there's not much to eat. And what? Everyone stopped having sex? I mean, what? Just because there's apocalypse? I mean, what the fuck? It's like,
it was
at
nice.
least when when the series started, you had the Glenn Maggie hookup that, gave you a romantic, nothing since, you know what I mean?
What do you mean? Eugene was watching Abraham and Rosita.
A little bit of Abraham and Rosita, and you have Rick and Michonne, and waking up in bed a couple times, but they really don't like to go there.
They don't show it, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see someone peeing, as much as it can be.
Is that a British thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. We just love it. We just love to talk about the bathroom. We're like, oh, someone's peeing, yay!
Mind if I watch?
Mind if I watch? Oh, lovely. How nice. I laughed a little bit at when they catch up at the house, and Gabriel comes in, and they're like, where is everyone? And Maggie's like, well, this person's dead, this person's dead, this person's dead, this person's dead. Alden's probably dead, and we don't know where Daryl and Frost are. And Gabriel's like, so we wait. And I'm like, that's a really stupid idea. She's just listed like loads of dead people.
Wait
Who
for
are you
what?
waiting on?
Wait for what?
Yeah.
Wait to die.
I was like, once again, found myself Team Negan. I'm like, no, I'm with Negan. Like, go. Like, this is really dumb. So yeah, it's the way. And Maggie was kind of like, just quite smug, like, yeah, we wait. My last note is just that it's quite funny that the Whisperers have like just the way they're like, yeah, we saw your friend, she's by the Screaming Cave, and everyone's like, oh, the Screaming Cave, cool, where's the Screaming Cave? And I'm like, why is nobody like, oh, that sounds scary, let's not go there. But yeah, so
she's in the pit of despair.
Yeah, she's in the hellhole, not like the fluffy bunny cave. It's like, no, she's in the Screaming Cave, and they're like, yeah, it's really close to where we live, cool, we'll check it out on the way back. So yeah, only in The Walking Dead. But yeah, those were my little notes. I thought it was great overall, though. Great episode.
When I was in England, we went to this cave called the Devil's Arse, and apparently at a certain time of year, the water comes through in a certain way where it sounds like it's farting out of the cave. Unfortunately,
I wonder if that's where Watiki, the director for Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. Remember they have to go through the wormhole that's called the Devil's Anus.
Oh, maybe.
Yes.
So, yeah. God.
I am so going to see this cave, Jason.
Yeah,
the Devil's Arse.
Cool,
yeah, I'm
cool
gonna
place.
head there. Yeah, nice.
Try to go there at the right
I'll
time
send
of
some
year.
pics.
Yeah, get a recording.
Nice gassy time of year.
Yeah, bring some toilet paper.
Okay, a big sheet of it. A couple of notes for me. We've covered most of it, but I was thinking, Negan's in this position where he's wanting to consider himself a part of this group, but they're in kind of dire straits. They're starving, and I'm like, when he was in charge of the Saviors, what would he have done if they ran out of food like this? Well, clearly he'd have gone around to one of the communities that he was terrorizing, maybe killed one of them and taken half their stuff. And then I'm like, I wonder if he's thinking, maybe I should suggest that to Maggie just as like a last resort.
There aren't any other communities.
That's true, I know.
They've successfully destroyed them all.
That's true.
Yeah. They're done now.
True. You can go to the Commonwealth. And then last, I thought the guy playing Lance Hornsby looked familiar. Looked him up. He's actor's Josh Hamilton. Where I saw him is he played the lead character Kayla's father in Bo Burnham's movie 8th Grade. I don't know if either one of you guys saw that, but it was great.
Oh, I didn't. He has a lot of acting credits though, because I thought he looked super familiar, but I couldn't see one specific thing that I knew him from when I looked it up.
He's good. Yeah. He's really good in that.
He reminded me a little bit of the Doctor from Woodbury.
Milton?
Yeah, Milton, yeah, a little bit.
Love that guy. All right. Awesome.
Citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
All right. Entertainment Weekly talked with Angela Kang. They said, we finally got our first look at the new community of the Commonwealth. Obviously, you all have the look from the comics to help guide you here, but what can you tell us about creating the physical space for the Commonwealth, how you came up with the look here, and what you wanted the look to say? She says, we had a lot of guidance from the comics, but also our production designer, Marek Dobrowolski, really had an interesting vision for taking the idea of a train station and converting that into the center of their government. So a lot of the architecture of the interior of that seat of government and operations is taken from the idea of an old vintage train station, which I thought looked pretty cool. The arches and
it was awesome.
Yeah.
And they go back to trains a lot. You know, Terminus was at a train.
Yeah.
So maybe that helped with the ominous kind of feeling of it. The creepiness. They said, did you all build this set right on your studio lot in Sonoy? She says, it is on the official studio set, so it took over the area that used to be the Savior's compound. Basically, it sits where the front of that factory was in the yard with all the zombies attached to the fence, which is also the same as part of where the prison was. So they tore down to all the sanctuary sets that took over that area. So they just built this up. So that's pretty cool. I thought it looked great. I mean, I agree with you, Kirk. It would be nice to get like a bigger view to really get the scope of it. But what they did show, I thought was pretty cool. They ask, when Stephanie says that Lance Hornsby is going to make them pay somehow for what they've done, what does that entail? She says the Commonwealth operates on a cash economy and you've got debt. So she's really saying, no, you don't get anything for free here. If he does something for you and if he scratches your back, you're going to have to scratch him one way or another. That's an interesting way to put that. Whether that is a massive consequences or minor or whatever, or an inconvenience, it's just kind of saying this is not a place where people just do favors for you just to be nice. So yeah, they're going to owe something. What would he want from them? And then last thing they say, who cuts off Keith the Whisperer's hand? She says, oh, that's interesting. We skipped over that moment, which I'm glad they did. I don't want to see that.
No, not again.
Yeah, enough.
Yeah, right? Enough.
He said, I don't know if my writer has her own answer to this, but I kind of think that the Whisperer might have sawed off himself just because he was with Alpha and the guy was used to like rough living. So I think he's like, oh, well, I guess I got bit. I'll saw my hand off now. And he's been so victimized that it's like, yeah, this wasn't that bad for me. At the end of the day, I've gotten worse, which is his own kind of fucked up mindset.
The thing that drives me crazy in a show like this, when they do something like that, is that I don't know if you know anybody that's ever lost a limb or lost even just a digit, but it's an incredibly painful experience. And the pain is like, and it lasts for a long time and takes a long, it takes
and you'd be
a long
in
time
shock.
for it to settle down. He'd be, and it's plus that's a huge artery there. He would bleed out in a heartbeat if it wasn't done properly and wasn't
cauterized or
tourniquet
or whatever,
or tourniqueted off. Yeah. So and then he's just lying there and he's got, they're rubbing it and he's got a cloth on it. And I'm like, give me a break. That guy would be like passed out from pain. He'd be bleeding all over I struggle with that a little bit sometimes.
It can be almost disrespectful, right, to the people who've gone through
stuff
like
or they're trying to make it realistic, but then they cut corners on some things for time and storytelling and everything else. And I get it. And I get it. I understand, but sometimes it takes me out of it.
Yeah. What What takes me out of it is when they are pulling guts out of zombies and they're not going, oh, because that would smell so rancid that you could not help but have a reaction, no matter how many times you've been around it, I would think, But they just...
Well, I don't know. I think after
a
years,
while.
I mean, yeah, you got to think about how many years they've been. I thought about
the first
that
time
when,
they did it, they didn't even...
Yeah, that's
seem to
true.
notice.
Well, and then they smeared it all over themselves.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So gruesome.
It reminds me of the movie The Grand Canyon, with I think Steve Martin's character gets shot in that, and it's a movie about making movies, if I remember right. He's like an action movie director guy or something, but he gets shot and he just falls to the ground and pisses himself, and it's like
exactly.
Oh wait, this is not like in the movies,
Right. No, exactly. I'm also enjoying some change of location that this season has provided us.
Good point.
Like I struggle with they're supposed to be outside of DC in Virginia. And like for the last 5 years, it's felt like they're in the woods of Georgia. You know what I mean? It's like, as they are, exactly. And I think they've gone out of their way this season to, especially with the Maggie storyline, with the metro and the subway, and it just
it's great.
And now they're the mall, which is funny because we get 2 references to malls in the last 2 episodes. We get the actual mall where Maggie goes, and they have the whole thing there. But then Princess is wants to work in a mall. It was just interesting that malls all of a sudden came out. But then the cars littering all over the place, and the roads and the homes in the area, and it's just started to feel more residential and more like Virginia, outside of, not a lot, but a little bit more like Virginia outside of DC, and that's cool because to me that I wish they had done more of that because it just freshens the whole thing. Like, if, you know what I mean? It feels more like a zombie movie if the, you get these crazy environments and these crazy weird places that you gotta, traverse. And I don't know. I've really enjoyed that part of the season.
I totally agree with everything you just said. Yeah, it's refreshing, and I always like it when they go to more populated areas, or that were more populated anyway. Like
they had the opening of season 10, right, where they've got the cart and they go right down into DC and they go to the library. Yeah, that was cool.
Yep,
I loved that.
All right, Decider interviewed Ross Marquand. The beginning of the episode where we have this great nightmare sequence with wolves, whisperers, saviors. Oh my, no, just kidding. I'll show up again. What was it like filming that? He says, we luckily had Greg Nicotero, who directed the episode, put on a whisper mask, and it was honestly pretty terrifying to receive directions from him while he was wearing that mask. But it was a blast. I, of course, didn't love being stabbed with retractable swords take after take, because we did that probably about 20 different times from all different angles. But I can't wait for people to see it and see what they think of it, because I had a lot of fun shooting that. Yeah, that's got to be a little traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say Aaron actually take things a little too far with the whispers and had to be pulled back. Do you think, though, that he realizes at any point that he's going beyond where he should go, or is it all just blind fury at what they've done? He says, so I think, for me, I agree with what he was doing. As a fan of the show, I think he was on the right track. And sometimes you have to fight fire with fire when diplomacy is not an option. For a lot of these whispers, diplomacy just doesn't work because they're so far gone and they've adopted this really animalistic way of living. But in terms of the character, I think Aaron needs to be pulled back because he's someone who from the beginning we've seen has just always been conscious about giving people more than one chance, really allowing people to redeem themselves. I think that's the core of who he really is. Not anymore. So I'm glad that for the character's sake, Carol pulled him back from the edge. I feel like that's the case of that you find with a lot of actors where they really make an effort to identify with what their characters are doing no matter what,
Guess you kind of have to, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, it makes it easier to find the motivation in yourself.
But I always find it interesting when that you get that rare actor who goes, "Oh yeah, my character's an asshole."
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting but subtle the way too that Carol pulls him back from that abyss and from making that fatal decision that would send him in a whole nother direction. And he listens to her. But then when she wants to go find Connie, she listens to him and waits, even though she doesn't want to wait. So it was interesting. It was kind of a, okay, she's right. I'm going to listen. And she's like, okay, I'm being a little rash and that's not the right thing to do. I'll listen to him. And it was good. I liked that.
Yeah. And that's different than what happened last episode or the episode before that, where she wanted to go get the horses and he didn't want her to, and she just went anyway and ignored him. So maybe the point is that they're forming more of a bond.
Correct.
Or something.
Well, they're gaining respect for each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They say, this is about Aaron being a leader and all that. When Maggie gets back, is Aaron going to fall in line behind her, or will he be stepping up even more as a leader, potentially? He says, I think he will be stepping up even more because Maggie's very much the leader of her group, and Aaron has always been one of the prominent figures of Alexandria. And now that literally everyone except for 3 characters, Aaron, Barbara, and Scott, those are the only 3 Alexandrians from the original Alexandria community that are left after like 100 people have been introduced on camera. So,
right.
So that really was the beginning of the end of the Alexandrians. And I think he, as a kind of the old guard, is really like, I have to step up and really stand for this community, because everyone seems to be ready to abandon ship. And he's saying to himself, show me a community that's better than this. If there's an option, I'm willing to explore that. But until you can show me that, there's no purpose to us just abandoning ship and go looking for something else, because he's been out there and he knows how scarce it is. So to me, that hints at maybe when we find about the Commonwealth, it'll be different.
Who's Barbara?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know.
I'm like, who Barbara?
Someone who doesn't get a lot of screen time, apparently.
That's the name of that dorky ass teenage kid, Barbara.
Sorry, Barbara, if you're listening.
Sorry, Barbara.
Barbara actress.
We love you.
We love you. You're the best. I really am sorry. Okay, go on. I think that this is pretty. I don't usually read as many, but I thought he had some interesting answers here. So I think 1 or 2 more. They say this is a little bit earlier in the episode, but there are a lot of resource management type scenes. I may be in the minority here, but I kind of love that stuff just because it really explains what's going on in the nitty gritty of it. But do you as an actor like playing those scenes, or does it just seem like a lot of dialogue to memorize? He says, no, I love that because, to your point, that gets to the core of what the show is really all about. The moments of action and violence and, quote, the fun stuff, so to speak, that we get to play on this show, that only works if we have the backdrop of reality as much as we can weave reality into a show about zombies. The reason why the show has been so successful is because it's not just about killing zombies and cool action shots. It's about the reality of the situation. I think a lot of fans have understandably come back to the show in this final season because they're seeing a lot of the world, the real world, becoming scarce. We're looking at real world issues of resource allocation and financial stability. And so these are all really crucial and really interesting things to talk about. I think they're the backbone of the show, personally. I thought that was an interesting response. And then lastly, I feel, well, let me read it and then I'll say what but they say, given Aaron has the Rick Grimes hair and single hand from the comics, and we're entering the final stretch of the episodes here, should people potentially be looking to the comics and Rick's arc to see where Aaron is going to go towards the end of the series? He says, I don't think so. There's certainly been a lot of comparison because of the beard and the lost arm and everything. I think a lot of people understandably made those comparisons. But Angela Kang and the team have really honored the source material that Robert Kirkman laid out, but also they've added their own touch to this final season. And I think that's great because it will really keep surprising fans of the comic and also fans of the show. I wonder if he's just saying that, but they're totally onto something.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's just playing.
Try to throw him off the scent.
Playing dumb.
Okay, I got 2 more really quick items. Insider interviewed Kaylee Fleming. My favorite question they asked, when the show ends, do you plan on taking any souvenir from the series? Are you going to ask to keep the hat? She says, yes, I want the hat so bad. Me and my mom have been talking about that. We've been talking about to the costume team because there are a few hats just in case we have a few backups. I don't see why we couldn't take just one hat. That would be such a cool souvenir. She needs to get that hat. Come on. Give her that.
Absolutely.
Oh, she has to. She has to.
And then last is I read on comicbook.com that the zombie biting at the dumb teenage kids' hands through the wall was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's son.
Yes.
No way.
Gus
Yes,
Morgan.
I read that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Kinda
awesome.
Yeah. He did a good job.
Yeah, you did.
So now his wife has been in it and his kid.
Right.
Both being zombies as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Mm.
All right. That's it for the news. Let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts. Kirk, you want to go first?
Sure. So Morgan Scaff says, best episode this season in my honest opinion. Love that we got to see more Commonwealth, but I still feel like they are holding back. First time I watched an episode this season where I was bummed to see the credits. Can't wait for next week.
Shenandoah Grand Pooba Gore says,
Wow.
much better than last week. Thank you,
Agreed.
Shenandoah.
I agree with that. Pam Patrick says Kaylee Fleming did an excellent job showing the emotional side of her character. Gus Dean Morgan also did an excellent job as a walker. The kids on this show can show some adult actors how to act.
Wyman Owen says it was so good. I'm glad we got to see a little bit of everything. The kids were absolutely amazing. A little ass kicker embracing her moniker. Sure was easy for Stephanie to get into that radio room. I'm thinking they used Eugene to try and pinpoint Alexandria. I think that's a good point. Yep. And the Commonwealth kind of makes me think of Woodbury on steroids.
Yeah.
Anyways, excited. That's probably why I'm getting that creepy vibe. Anyways, excited to see if they can find Connie next week. Yeah, we want more Connie.
The
I want more
one,
Connie.
Yeah, I do too.
oh,
I think
We
she's
love-
awesome.
we love Connie. We
Yeah.
love her even more now that we've met Leah. Anyway. The lovely Rima Jo says, we'll throw hands with anyone messing with Judith. Love the scene with Rosita and Judith. Remind me of the scene with Rick and Carl in the barn. No more kid stuff. Speech.
Yeah.
Aw, yeah.
Kelly Burgess says, I'm really liking the scenes with Judith and the other kids. The scene with her and Rosita was very emotional and well done. Can't wait to hear what you both thought. Thanks, Kelly.
Emily Rouse says, best episode of the season so far. Wow, we've had a number of people who felt that way. It was very intense and also heartbreaking. I cried when Judith talked with Carl, or talked about Carl. And I was going to say, if you talked to Carl, I definitely wasn't paying attention.
That definitely was a Kirk dream.
That's right. Judith talked about Carl and everyone leaving her. Having not read the comics, I'm on the fence about Commonwealth, but it was cool. Yumiko found her brother and that amazing bakery. Do they actually grow sugarcane? Last but not least, looking forward to seeing Connie again.
I'm liking the Commonwealth more than I thought I would. Like, that's what I'm most interested in. And in the comics, I was like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Alma Contreras says, I really liked tonight's episode. At first I was a little thrown back with Aaron's nightmare in the beginning, but once he let out his dark side, I got where everything was coming from. I was left a little torn on how he handled that whisperer, and I was not surprised Hilltop had squatters. I love seeing the kid scenes. Judith is by far one of my favourite characters.
Yep. Mark Nichols says, I was glad to get back to a classic episode. I always love the episodes where we have multiple stories at once. Alexandria, back to Hilltop. We say Hilltop. Commonwealth,
Hillcock.
Meridian. Hillcock. I love jumping from one story to another so well and keeping a bit of suspense. I love the opening sequence of a dream with the red in the background. Nicotero did great imagery there. I love seeing Team Judith back together. Where did these other kids come from? Never seen them before. And then they're bullying Judith. I do like how Team Judith says, we will help you. And in the next scene, they aren't helping her. Way to bail.
Nat Pacini wrote, it was heartbreaking to see Judith going through this bullying. Great acting by Kaylee Fleming and Christian Cerritos in their scenes together. It was a nice contrast with angry Aaron. I do have a big question that falls into the nitpicking category. How exactly does Maggie plan to carry back food and supplies for a whole community with 3 or 4 injured people over what seems to like a several days journey? I keep screaming at the TV every time they talk about how much they need the supplies. It wasn't a very good plan to retrieve what would have to be truckloads of food.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Yeah, there's a lot about that whole plot line that
Yeah.
just doesn't, you got to really disbelieve for a while.
Yeah, that's Nate.
Yeah.
Nate Bassini, by the way. Yeah, that's an excellent point. What the hell?
Mike Mulcahy says, one of the best episodes in season 11, if not the best. I think I definitely prefer when all of the storylines are featured in an episode as opposed to focusing on one group or the other. Sad to see Jerry backing Aaron so hard on the ruthless anger approach with the Whisperer, but you can hardly blame the guy. Also, not sure I've ever wanted to kill a kid before, but if that little shit messes with Judith again, I may have to reconsider that line of thinking. Seriously, that kid needs a good bitch slapping. Yes.
Oh, he's going to get eaten. There's no doubt.
I really hope so.
He very much reminded me of Nicholas. Just,
Yeah.
poking and egging on and being a total dickhead. Jessica Coughlin says, did Stephanie just trap Eugene? Tough first date. I totally thought Aaron was bitten at the fence. All the extra development. Yeah, that was pretty harrowing. All the extra development for Gracie's character, I hope, isn't setting us up for some grief. Yee. Hands up for anyone hoping Yumiko's brother will surgery on Ezekiel's neck, or will he choose cake? Such a great episode, setup episode. Connie!
Brett Swain writes, Aaron is everything in this episode. He is one of my favorite characters. The dream sequence in the beginning really shows his fear and paranoia. He's lost so much, and he has hardened since season 5 because of it. I hope he makes it to the end, but I remember I made Beth my favorite character, and 3 episodes later she died.
Oh boy.
Hopefully Aaron is a little different. Lots of laughs.
Oh boy, Brett. Bob Oakes says, I'm glad we got to see more of the Commonwealth this week. Anyone else notice that it's set up like a communist society with the government picking jobs for you based on aptitude and experience? I wonder how international that is and if it plays into the future story.
Intentional.
Oh. Well, Bob, they have jobs in many countries. Intentional, sorry. I wonder how intentional that is and if it plays into the future story. Also, at some point this season, they must start toughening RJ up. They can't name the kid Rick Jr. and keep him as soft as he is. At some point, his inner badass has to show.
Yeah.
I don't comment on RJ anymore.
They should
being too mean.
Go in the kitchen and he's like eating a big piece of cake or something he's not supposed to have, and he's like, what?
What? I'm doing stuff. Thanks.
Jonathan Feedy says, hello, Jason and Lucy. Kaylee Fleming gets my award for performance of the episode. The way Judith's eyes welled up with tears as she walked away from the jerk kid at the wall was a beautifully heartbreaking shot. And please give me more of the Commonwealth and less of everything else. I'm not at all interested in Aaron's path to the dark side that Carol herself admits we've seen on this show before, nor am I interested in any more Maggie Negan staring contests. I just want stormtroopers led by Eugene and Ezekiel to arrive at the gates of Alexandria to get everyone moving in one storytelling direction. Also, here's hoping that another mention of Judith's mom this week is laying the foundation for Michonne and Rick's return in some capacity. Thrilled to be welcoming Connie back next week. Virgil, not so much. That's a great
Virgil.
Great note there, Jonathan. I like that. All right, we got several calls. Glad you guys are writing and calling in. Here is Steve Brown.
Hello, Walking Deadcast. This is Steve, and this is for Out of the Ashes. That was one horrifying dream. Am I the only one that finds this guy a little creepy? Hornsby, in this orientation video. This part makes me laugh. I don't know why. The whole ducking. She raises the knife up like she's going to throw it at him, and he ducks, and she gets the walker. Her skills have improved. Whoa, this kid just pushed Judith down, and she's about to put her sword to his throat. So much for that cake. Who is supposed to be supervising these kids? Isn't there somebody, shouldn't there be like an adult in charge of them? Oh, there she is. There's Rosita. Love Christian Serratos. So these are all Whisperers who survived, and now they've just been kind of hiding out here at Hilltop? Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a few days since I watched this. It is, really. I didn't catch that little nod between the Whisperers right before they attacked the first time I watched it, so that was kind of cool to see. I don't know how often they get new people in there, but like Eugene's dressed kind of like a normal everyday person, but definitely if you look at Ezekiel and Princess, they stand out in this group. I think there might be a little something between Princess and Mercer. Oh, dang. Aaron has really gotten bloodthirsty. So Elijah didn't die when he got strung up or grabbed by the the Reapers. And it's a good thing that he and Gabriel found each other, because Gabriel wouldn't know which house to go to. All right, can't wait to hear you guys talk about this one. Next week, looks like we get Connie.
He's really perfected the art of the live Steve.
The live Steve is great.
Got that down. Kirk was on Steve's podcast, Panels to Pixels, by the way, talking about I totally forgot, like at the end of the podcast when we mentioned other podcasts that we're covering and What If, I didn't even mention there was a zombie episode, but anyway, that's what you covered over on Panels to Pixels.
Yeah.
Fun. All right, here is Renee.
Renee.
Hi guys, this is Renee from Fairburn. The episode tonight, it was okay. The Commonwealth, it seems corny. It just reminded me of the governor, maybe Woodbury or whatever it was called. Definitely corny. I don't trust Eugene's new boo, because she seemed to have been in on it. I don't know. She seemed to have set him up. So I'm not happy with that. But the scene with Rosita and Judith, that was so sad. That little girl can really act. That little girl had me crying. Judith had me crying. The way she was looking, and that was just so sad. That part that really was touching. Negan and Maggie, I don't like it. I just don't understand why I want them to move on from this. I want Maggie to kill Negan. I want Negan to get the hell on, do something, go away. I don't care what it is. I hate that they keep putting Negan and Maggie together as if that is okay. It's nowhere in the universe that is okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. I mean, it's no way them two can coexist. I mean, he killed her husband. Mm-hmm. He murdered her husband in cold blood in front of her face. Like, just because. I mean, Negan is awful. And Negan has to go. I just wish they do something about that. That needs to come to an end.
I feel you.
The part with the whispers, I feel like they shouldn't have left them. Maybe they should get him a chance, kind of help them, because it was like a cold, and after had them all messed up. So maybe if they would have, try to bring them back in and, take them back. Well, I don't know. To take them back to Alexandria, maybe they have to wait a little while to make sure that they're going to make it fit in. I don't know, but I felt sorry for them. They look so dirty and unkempt. They need a home real bad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was okay. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this episode. All righty, y'all stay blessed, stay messed up. Talk to you later. Bye.
That was great.
I love Renee.
Yeah, she's good.
I'm glad she liked this episode a little better.
It's funny that she says it feels like repetitive of Woodbury or the governor, because I don't know if they're going to do this on the show, but in the comic, they called her the governor. And just, it kind of was like, oh, another governor? Uh-oh.
I know. Here we go again.
Here is Robin from Georgia.
Hey, Jason and Lucy. Good morning. This is Robin from Georgia. Oh, my gosh. What an episode. Whew. First of all, Aaron, dude, you let that walker chew that Whisperer's hand and then left the knife on the ground for him to cut his hand off. Oh my gosh. But I guess I would be that dark too if I had a little wuss like Gracie for a daughter. Oh my goodness. She really needs to toughen up. And then there's Judith that, oh my gosh, she is such a fierce little tender-hearted warrior, isn't she? Mm-hmm. I have to say I was absolutely unprepared for that face and those tears, that grief. Oh God, poor little thing. She's a wonder. Whoever's writing her is doing a brilliant job, and Kaylee Fleming is she's a force. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I loved the scene with her and Rosita. Rosita has always been one of my favorites that I thought they didn't do enough with, but she's amazing too. And I gotta say, I do a lot of furniture repair. She picked up that bottle of wood glue like a pro. She knew what she was doing. But then I thought to myself, oh my gosh, they still have wood glue this far into the apocalypse? It usually dries up on me. But my favorite, finally, of all, Miss Princess, flirting with Mercer. Gotta love her. Gotta love her. And then he actually batted his eyelashes at her. What an amazing scene. Love it.
So
Well,
cute.
there's so much to talk about, but I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for the podcast. Bye, y'all.
Oh, lovely.
That was nice.
I do feel like they just have not they've utilized Rosita tremendously.
Yeah.
Kirkman did in the book as well. It's too bad. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a good I think she's a good actress.
Yeah. It was nice to get that one scene with her, and I liked back when they showed some scenes with her and Sadiq. There were some really good, touching scenes with that. But
Yeah,
they
there
have. I
were.
agree. They use her more. Okay, now it's Gemma.
Gemma.
Hi, Jason and Lucy. This is Gemma calling from South Wales with feedback for this week's episode of The Walking Dead. Yeah, really good episode. Enjoyed it. Judith made me cry. It was really cool to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan's son Gus as the walker on the fence. It's a bit stupid of the kids to be playing with a walker so close like that, but I felt really bad for Judith, and taking off the handprints on the boards for Carl and Judith it was horrific. And her performance was just so meaningful, and the chat between her and Rosita just had me in floods of tears. Really well done. Aaron's character development has just gone wow. From the moment we met him when Rick punched him in the face in the barn, he was such a sweet guy, and now he's feeding whisperers to Walker. It's like a bit of a transition, but he's lost a lot. He's been through a lot, and he's got more to lose now with Gracie, and I think that's where his nightmares come from, and his thoughts about losing her is just plaguing him every day. And Princess and the Commonwealth, it was all really good to see. Like, inside looked a lot like Woodbury, but like highlighted with more people and like more stuff going on, and the donuts and stuff like that. It was good to see inside. But Princess's interaction with Mercer was just hilarious, and like I felt that they really had good chemistry. And when she said about he had really nice eyelashes, it was really funny. Yeah, really good episode, just a solid episode of The Walking Dead. I really enjoyed it. So that's my feedback, and I look forward to the podcast, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Gemma. Yeah, the Mercer actor's just one of those actors that can project a lot of charisma and personality without barely even moving, I feel like.
Yeah, he's got powerful eyes.
Yeah,
he's got powerful eyes.
And those eyelashes.
And finally, we got Crystal Cheatham.
Hey, y'all. Crystal Cheatham here. I listen to your show a lot. I freaking love it. I also heard that a group of y'all may be coming to Philly to celebrate, the end and the entire series. And I'm in Philly. And if you're here, I would love to hang out. My friends don't watch this show.
Excellent.
And I've been suffering through it all alone all this entire time, having y'all as friends, and I think it'd be really cool to meet you in real life. So, if you're in Philly, please make there a way for us all to hang out. I think it would be really rewarding. Thanks so much. Bye.
Love it.
That was from last week when somebody was saying, are you going to do a finale party? And I was like, a bunch of us are meeting in Philly actually next month, not for the finale, just to hang out and, have fun. But I actually misspoke. I meant to say Pennsylvania, which Philly is in, but we're meeting in Hershey to like go to the Hershey Park and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So come on over to Hershey Park.
Now the mid-season finale is when?
December? We don't know.
Well, there's two, kind of, isn't there? Because there's
it's
three...
3 parts of 8 episodes for the final season. 3 groups of 8. So this was number 5, so we got 3 more left in this first part.
And then there's a break.
And we don't know when it's coming back after that.
And then there's another 8, and that's going to carry us over into 22.
Yep.
And then there'll be another 8 to finish it off.
Yeah, and I imagine, I'm guessing the next 8 will start in like February, and then, wait, what month is it now? August?
September.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to finish this block in October.
And then, so maybe like February or early next year, they'll do the second 8, and then they'll wrap it up at the end of the year.
It's wild.
Do you think they're going to follow the book for the ending?
Oh, who knows? It
I
seems
hope
like they
so.
would try to differentiate it in some way.
Because if they do,
Well, wait, we're going to get into comic talk next.
Oh,
so let's do that. No, that's good that you're bringing that up. We're moving to that segment right now. But I like to make a delineation. Crystal, if we end up in Philly for a finale party, I will absolutely let you know, or anywhere near that, or no matter where it is, I'll let you know, and you can come and we can all hang out. If enough people express interest in that, then yeah, we should definitely make it happen. It would be freaking awesome. So thanks. I appreciate your enthusiasm on that.
They've just opened US UK flight travel today, so I can come over. Yay!
Nice.
Maybe not soon. Things still seem a bit sketchy now, but by next year, hopefully.
Hopefully by the finale.
Fingers crossed. By the finale.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't want to come here.
Sketchy is an understatement.
Okay, now
out of control is a little bit better.
We're now officially in the comic talk segment, and I want to reiterate this is about the comic, which may actually be spoilery for the show. In fact, there's one thing we're going to talk about that I pretty sure is pretty spoilery for the show. So if you don't want to have any spoilers, you should just stop listening or just skip right to the end segment right now. So there's your fair warning. So what do we want to say? What were you saying, Kirk?
No, I was just saying I was wondering if what your feelings were, both of you, on whether they would go in the direction of the book for the finale, and that it being the time jump that takes place in the comic. And if so, who do you think who's going to play what roles? Because I have a theory of my own, but go ahead.
There's a time jump at the end, and
big time jump.
I think it would be pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something different just to make it fresh, but maybe it'll be similar but different. But anyways, I don't know. Who do you have in mind for the roles?
Well, Lucy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Lucy, what do you think?
I think they should try. I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, given some of the cast members we've lost.
Carl.
But Carl's the big one, because it all sort of hinges on Carl. But they've done such a good job with Judith that I can see it playing out. I don't think Herschel will be the villain. That's my only thing, is I think they're setting up maybe that Herschel and Judith will be like Sophia and Carl. But we could, Miko being the judge at the end and things like that. I can see it happening. But I mean, the last issue of the comic is just one of my absolute favorites, and I do hope they get as much of that in as possible, because it would be really, really nice. But awesome. They will have to do a lot of shifting, and I do think, to me, there's got to be a homecoming for Rick, and I don't know how that would fit in, because I don't feel like they would take Rick for homecoming and then have him killed off in the Commonwealth. So, I don't know. I've got lots of mixed thoughts about it, but I can see it. I can see bits of it now that I couldn't see before.
Do we really think Rick is coming back?
We hope.
I hope so.
I thought there were going to be 2 movies.
That's what they said, but we are kind of thinking, since the movies have taken a lot longer than anyone wished or thought they would, including the people working on them, that maybe they will bring Rick back for the end of the series.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So.
But I think a good actor for Herschel would be Stephen Yeun.
Yeah. And for Judith, you could have Lauren Cohen as
oh my god.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, who did you have in mind?
Yeah, I know. I think I agree with Lucy. I hope that they stay not completely true, but true in a lot of it.
Yeah, me too.
And that they just swap Judith for Carl, and it kind of I think that the show the comic was about the story of a father and his son going through this apocalypse and surviving this apocalypse. And I think when they lost Carl, a lot of people got really upset, because that kind of interrupted that design of the show.
Yeah, and for reasons that seem to have to do with contract negotiations.
But it did for me. I didn't struggle with that,
okay.
Because I felt that because Judith survived, whereas in the comic Judith didn't.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
You can swap those two, because really it's not a different story. It's still a father and his child, whether it be his son or his daughter, and you could continue on that same story.
And she has technically been on the show since the beginning.
But then they
in a
took
way.
Rick. Then Rick,
Yeah, then
Rick
they took
left.
Rick. Yeah.
So to me, that's kind of unanchored the show at that point, and it would be nice to at least see Judith all grown up and kind of surviving this whole thing, so that there would be some completion to that storyline, which is Rick getting his kids through this apocalypse, you know, whether even though he's not there.
Well, and that's how it was in the comic too. I mean,
exactly.
He wasn't there,
exactly.
so yeah.
No,
but
exactly.
They still paid a lot of tribute to what he did to get them to where they were.
And I so want to see that zombie, traveling zombie circus thing with the zombies in the right. I want to see that.
It's just
so
such
bad.
it's such a good ending, like so good, and the kind of the character that Herschel grows to be. Yeah. But it's difficult because I think that Herschel that we see there is he grows up in so much privilege, and that's where the problem is. Whereas this Herschel, this like 8-year-old boy that we see now, has not grown up in privilege at all, and I'm just like, oh, how could they make the
Maybe
two?
It'll be Gracie.
Maybe Gracie the dickhead.
Okay, let's talk about the similarities and differences to the comic. We're going a little bit long, so maybe just briefly, is there anything in particular you were itching to talk about?
The cafe scene was almost beat for beat what you get when Michonne is reunited with her daughter in the comics, right down to the cake being dropped.
Cake drop.
And visually, the Commonwealth looks like it's come straight off the page, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like we thought, it's more impactful to see a mother reunited with her daughter than a brother and sister who it feels kind of like they're just, oh, let's catch up over lunch versus, oh my God, it's my daughter. But it was still pretty good.
Yeah. It's a different dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm sorry, Kirk, what were you saying?
I think Yumiko, though, is a great swap for Michonne. I mean, I think that, and in fact, more believable because she was introduced earlier and we established that she was a lawyer and that was her background. And Michonne, perhaps, I don't remember way back when but it's so long ago, and she had transformed into such a, survival warrior badass that I don't see her, going back to wine. I always felt that was a little bit of a hard to swallow in the comic. This is much more realistic to me,
I like them both.
I think this is good. I like this. And I think she's a great actress, and I like her character.
So, yeah, me too. And it's really fun. It is interesting because, I mean, we have seen her be a fighter, but it feels kind of like, oh, her main superpower is now useful. That's the feeling I get to it.
Being British and being fancy is her superpower.
But I wanted to talk about Stephanie. This is where it could be a spoiler for something that's going on in the show right now. But in the comic, Stephanie, her first issue, she's drawn as a white character. And then after that, she's darker. And I think it was an accident in the coloring or something. And I think they've used that as a way to introduce a plot element, because this Stephanie that we're seeing is not who we were told was cast as Stephanie. Who we were told was cast as Stephanie is this girl who was there when Eugene was getting ice cream and said, "Is that Rocky Road?" And she just stared at him and then turned around and walked away without saying anything. So that makes us feel like maybe Stephanie is some kind of a decoy that has entrapped them in order to, or whatever they're doing. I don't know. But in the comics, Stephanie was getting berated for having contacted Eugene in the first place because she wasn't following protocol and stuff. So maybe that also happened in the show, with the real Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you confirmed it was her at the ice cream stand, because I did think, I was like, that looks like Margot Bingham.
Yeah.
Actually, no, my first thought was that looks a hell of a lot like Meghan Markle. And then I was like, oh no, it's Margot Bingham. Right, okay.
But the problem I have with that is I think that's kind of why they had Eugene not seem too interested in her, because then it wouldn't make sense. I mean, what would make sense is if they would talk about all the things that they talked about when they were having all those conversations over the radio, but then how would this fake Stephanie be able to make him believe that she was the real one? I don't know.
Do you think he has picked up on it?
Maybe
he's aware of it.
What confuses me is she's clearly been briefed, because when they're talking about ice cream, she mentions like his favorite ice cream flavor, which is a conversation they had over the radio. So my question is real Stephanie cooperating, or is she being coerced into giving them information about Eugene? So I'm intrigued to see how it plays out.
I would guess coerced. Otherwise, why not just have her be herself, if she's cooperating?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she may be, well, you know what? She's probably being punished for having reached out to them to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She got discovered, and then remember that then they just clarified that, you got to pay your price. You got to pay your dues,
Either that or we got some
up.
bad information and we're totally wrong about this whole thing, which is a possibility. But everybody's talking about it online. So I think
it must be. We heard it on the internet. Yeah, it must be true.
Must be right.
We'll see. All right. Anything else about the comic? They meet Pamela earlier. We haven't seen her yet.
Yeah, they're really holding out on the Pamela here. And the Princess Mercer, love it. Yeah, it was always a surprise to me in the comic, but in the show, I think they're laying the groundwork really well.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is our show, episode 443. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, Kirk. That was really fun.
No, my pleasure. Yeah, it's great to be back on.
Come on.
Let's try and make it shorter next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome.
Well, we don't have much time left, so it's going to have to be
thanks.
shorter.
Nice to meet you, Lindsay.
If you guys want to give us a call, join in on the fun, you can reach us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can email us at brains@podcastica.com.
Find us on the web at facebook.com/podcastica.
And be sure to check out our other shows at podcastica.com.
And don't forget to check out Kirk on studiokm.com, where you can see a bunch of his art. Check that all out, and you can go there this weekend to see all the tribute posters, released 2 each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then you can tweet all that stuff out to enter the contest to win 6 for yourself, which I will put in the show notes.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to promote?
No, that's good. Thank you very much.
And then, I just wanted to mention, over on House Podcastica, we're covering What If. It's really good, and I'm loving it.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
And I can't believe I forgot to mention last week that we covered. It was just called What If Zombies. That was the title, and it was like zombie Captain America fighting Bucky, and I don't want to say what happens, but if you're a zombie fan, I mean, dude, you must be. You're watching The Walking Dead. I would at least check out that episode if you have Disney Plus. It's great.
Absolutely, I agree. I concur.
And the next episode of this podcast, if everything goes as planned, we will be interviewing Paola Lazaro. It's been tough to connect because she's filming, and they'll call her into film on the time that we were supposed to interview. But crossing my fingers, you may be hearing that soon, which is exciting, right? That'd be awesome.
It's so exciting.
That's awesome.
I can't wait.
I never take these things for granted.